Hello, one and all. First off, I apologize about the acne. For once, I've actually got acne. It's been kind of crazy. So first off, this is not a channel message. It's not a tarot reading. It's more or less just an update. I had actually kind of forgotten. I originally started my YouTube for me. It's supposed to be a journal, essentially a video journal, kind of like that show, Good Luck Charlie. I was using it to process my own emotions, do my own things. And then I actually started getting ideas and basically it's just a channel about anything I want to post, more or less. That's kind of the theme of the channel. Everything kind of ties together, but it doesn't. It's hard to explain. But I'm doing this for myself, so I can see in a few months how this is. You know, I need to go back and look at that other video when I first started this. When I first moved into my apartment. That was like 5 months ago. I haven't talked about it since because it's not safe to, and I felt like I was gonna jinx something, but I've been squatting in my apartment for 2 months. I'm actually kind of surprised they haven't thrown me out yet. There are reasons for that. I mean, they've been threatening for sure, but I think I got them in a legal bind, so they can't really do too much at the moment. However, I'm getting the notions to move. I actually mean in every sense of the word. It is time for me to leave my apartment. It's time for me to move and get going. What I did these past 6 months was considered insane. I didn't know I was doing it at the time, but I essentially pushed myself into basement mode, is what they call it. Essentially, when you go down to just the nitty-gritty bare basics, and you just level yourself up. Work, eat. Work, eat. Literally that exact, it's almost like a very radical version of a workout, almost. I essentially removed all distractions, I did everything I could. I stopped talking to people, I even quit my job. I went out of my way. The job thing wasn't mainly because of this, it was also because I was being treated like shit. That was true. And I actually did try to find another job, it just never happened. So what I did was for these last 2 to 3 months specifically, was I went super hardcore and invested in myself, because I actually haven't had a job for over 6 months. I essentially quit my job shortly after I moved in. The only reason I was okay is because I saved up a bunch of money for a while. Now obviously, everything leaving my mouth, they're just like, this sounds like a really stupid idea. And it was. Kind of. I suffered. A lot. I lost my job. I quit my job. I'm losing my apartment. Tomorrow, or Monday, may very well be my last day. It's kind of just waiting on one thing in particular. But the reason I came here was to rest, ironically. I kind of call back to all my manifestation videos. One of the biggest rules about manifesting is you have to lose something to gain something. Equivalent exchange, as I was talking about. So for instance, if I want a new life, if I'm unhappy with my old life, guess what you have to give up? Your old life. And I did. I gave up my job. I gave up my friends. I gave up everything. I've been eating almost every other day kind of thing. It's been not good. And again, someone would be like, why would you do that to yourself? I'm in a situation where I barely eat every day. If I'm lucky, I kind of eat every other day kind of thing. I've been primarily eating squash and not squash, like tomatoes and zucchini and random raw foods, especially since I lost power. So I've actually haven't been eating as much as I should. And again, people would be like, well, why would you do that to yourself? It just doesn't make sense. Essentially what I did was I put myself in fight or flight mode in a strategic way. the way I learn apparently is with my back up against the wall. I am a very radical person, unfortunately. Not to a fault. I've always been kind of all or nothing, and that's kind of how I learned. Either all or nothing. I put myself completely into it, or I don't. And that's what I did. I quit my job, and what I did, referencing back to my other video of investing, I invested in myself. I kept trying to find another job because I realized I thought I made a mistake. I'm like, I made a mistake, I'm going to lose my apartment, and I started trying to backtrack. Well, the universe didn't let me. I still couldn't find a job. I still don't have a job. I haven't had a job for over 5 months. But I'm still here. I'm still kicking. And that's a testament to something. And that's the reason I did it, is because I didn't know at the time, but I was learning that I was going to be okay. If you've been following my channel for a while, I've told crazy story after crazy story about how magic just happens. Things just appear out of nowhere when I need it. Like, people just come in. And again, I hate using this word because it feels so hypocritical, but God, the universe, whatever. I really put my trust in myself and the universe. Said, okay, let's do this. So I did the work. I did the shadow work. The last 6 months, I have essentially held up a mirror to my face. And I've called out every demon, every shadow, everything I can. Why? Because my last life was unhappy. I worked at a job I fucking hated for a manager who was being a manipulative piece of shit with coworkers who were lying to my face. Like, it was toxic. Why? Because I was toxic. I allowed it. I'm gonna be honest with you. This part really kills me, and this was a turning point. As I've said numerous times throughout my channel, anger has always been one of my things. Driving used to be a massive trigger for me. It is for a lot of people. Well, I used to do it to a fault of self-sabotage and self-destruction. I actually wrecked one of my own cars out of anger. Wrecked. Like, gone. Fucking gone. So anger has been something I've been dealing with my entire life. Where was I going with this? So one day I actually had, again, another road rage incident. Either someone wasn't being fast enough or, I don't know, basically someone pissed me off. I cut them off, I did something, I was aggro, I was angry at them, and I essentially went after them, kind of. Like, I attacked them, in a sense. And, everyone thinks that it's okay. Just because it's random people, we don't know them, you know, that's why people on the internet are such assholes. Because you don't actually have to see your victim. Well, one day, one of my customers came in, one of my regular customers, goes, "Hey, Adam, you cut me off the other day." I'm just like, I did? They're like, "Yeah, I don't know what I did, but I guess I pissed you off or something, and you cut me off." I'm just like, and it just kind of sank in. I'm like, wow. I'm sorry. And they're like, "No, everything's fine. I mean, I didn't mean to piss you off." I'm just like, no. It's not okay. It's not okay. But that job also was doing it to me. Part of the anger was the job. I would work 50 to 60 hours a week. I was the go-to guy. Everyone knows I didn't have a social life. I unfortunately broadcasted it. So literally, he wouldn't give me an option. He's like, "Hey, you're staying till 6. Because so-and-so called in. It was almost every other fucking day. I was working so much, I was getting sick every week, every 2 weeks. And I had to take 3 days off every time just to recuperate. So it's like, okay, now we're at a point, like, I'm actually missing work because of work. Like, I can't keep this up. So I was the go-to every time someone called in, every time. And the second I started telling my boss no, he treated me like shit. The second I started standing up for myself, he was mean. He was manipulative, like narcissists would do. Anytime you tell someone no, he was not okay with it. Ultimately, some actions, some words, it's a 50-50. It's not really my fault, but I can also see how certain actions led up to that point. So that was the final tie. Even though that situation wasn't anything that actually was my fault, we had, you know, XYZ up to this point, and even though if this was a lie, it was the final straw that broke the camel's back. Well, then the same thing. The next 3 jobs, I was just miserable. So I really sat down, and I took this time, and I used it properly. I invested in myself. I said, what do I want? And then I looked at myself and said, okay, well, if that's what I want, how do I get there? And the answer was change myself as well. The Adam that worked at that job couldn't do the job that I want to do. In fact, I know I couldn't. I wanted to code. I used to make video games. I want to do this. But coding used to piss me off. Everything used to piss me off. So I kind of looked inside and said, okay, this can't keep going on. I have to do something. I have to change. I don't like my life. And again, I have to change myself to fix my life. Because the deal is... Oh, it's gonna shake anyways. The deal is, even if I manifested this perfect life, like say I found my perfect girlfriend, a perfect partner, whatever, but I didn't love myself, I would end up losing this perfect partner. So I had to become the person I could be, I knew I could be, to quote-unquote receive this life, receive these gifts. For instance, Angry Adam was shut off. Any time someone tried to help me, I'd tell him to F off because I felt like it was an insecurity attack. Like I couldn't do my job or something, and you know how that works. So I would take a simple handout as an offense, kind of thing. So now when someone tries to help me out, I'm just like, oh, maybe these people are actually trying to help me. That's not something the old Adam could see. Now, truth be told, like I said, I'm losing my apartment either tomorrow or Monday. I am still terrified. Even though this has been kind of guided and orchestrated, in a sense, I have literally been walking around with a blindfold on for the last 6 months. I've been doing the work and doing the lessons and working on myself, but every day is a fucking mystery. I have no idea how I'm gonna eat. I have no idea where I'm gonna sleep. Kind of thing. I mean, obviously I still have my apartment for now, but you kind of get what I'm saying. I have no idea what's next. And it's simultaneously terrifying, but at the same time kind of comforting. I can't explain it, but every fiber of my being knows it's time to move. I've actually gotten to the point I'm more comfortable sitting out in my car and watching TV and watching or listening to music than sitting in my apartment watching TV. I've literally found myself coming down here and sitting in my car for 2-3 hours when I've got a bed upstairs. I'm just like, it's time to move. It's time to go. Everything in my body knows it's time. I just have to move. Wish me luck. Because what I'm doing isn't just for me. I'm doing it for everyone. I'm sick of the way this world runs. I know I'm not the only one. People often forget or cast away the power of one. Everyone wants to try to make people small and say you can't ever do anything yourself. But yet, all it takes is one domino. One domino to knock over an entire colony of dominoes. You stack up all those dominoes and it literally just starts with one. So, I do ask for help. Share my channel. Share my videos. Fuck, even donations, I don't care. But I don't expect them. I don't really expect you to, because no matter what, I'm gonna find a way to do this. And that's what this has been about these last few months. Is finding a new way to live my life. And it's absolutely terrifying. And again, we're gonna revisit that point of suffering. They're like, well, why would you put yourself through all that? Through all that suffering, I have learned so much. I have learned patience. I have learned kindness. I have learned compassion. I learned who I am. I learned what I like. I learned what I don't like. I learned how to feel again. Gonna be cliche as hell. Lost my job, lost my life, but I found myself. This is the first time, and again, it's still contradictory, whatever, contradicts itself. Despite me almost having nothing and being hungry, it's the first time I've been happy. It's the first time I've been happy in a long time. I feel joy again. Back when I was a kid, my parents got divorced around 11 or 12, and it was terrible. It was not clean. And, I don't know why I'm saying this, but it's part of it. I do remember my dad saying at one point it kind of was our fault. But, at that point, I shut down completely. I've told this story time and time again. I wasn't allowed to feel emotions. I was basically told to shut up, sit still, and be in a corner. Well, after that divorce and kind of feeling the emotions shut down, I noticed even as a kid, when I laughed, I didn't feel it anymore. It became a automatic response. I was on autopilot. And then it got to a point that it just felt so fucking fake that I stopped laughing altogether. I was like, if I don't feel the actual joy, there's no point in laughing. There's no point in smiling. So then what happened was my heart hardened. It crystallized almost. I didn't feel anything but rage and anger. So like I said, I took these last few months to kind of sit there and be like, all right, let's do this again. Let's start feeling these emotions, because once I started feeling emotions, I had to unpack all of it. Because that whole time my heart was frozen, the emotions piled up like old newspapers, although nobody has those anymore. But imagine like a pack rat. One of those people who don't throw away. I forget what they're called. Pretty sure it's a pack rat. But imagine a pack rat of emotions. I just kept taking the emotions and stuffing them in every closet, every corner, everywhere I could, so I wouldn't have to feel them, because I couldn't feel them. But now it's like my heart opened up, and then you just see all these emotions all over the place. I'm like, fuck. Literally feels like I'm going insane. I'll be sitting here and all of a sudden I just start crying. Or I get mad over simple stuff. And it's not that I'm broken, it's just these emotions are trying to get out. So realistically, logically, I understand that thing didn't really piss me off. I actually could care less. But yet I'm getting angry, yet I'm sad, yet I'm also kind of curious. I'm curious to see what is next. Because I know it's not... Even if I do have to be homeless for a little while, I know it's not going to be forever. In fact, I've already got a couple of options lined up, like I could go pitch a tent on my mom's land, apparently. She reached out to me and gave me an option. I mean, I've got a couple of options. So I don't need you guys freaking out and being like, oh no. And if I end up living in my car, so be it. That actually is... It's not that bad. I actually got a little bed set up in the back. A little uncomfortable, and I will figure out a way to make that work too, but... This is more or less just kind of a checkpoint. I'm curious to see how it'll look in the next few months, because... Essentially, what I imagine is now all the manifestations are kicking in. And what I mean by that is this entire time I've actually been practicing manifestation as well. And a lot of them didn't click because, ironically, are you ready for this? Those emotions that I've been clearing out are also the emotions that are blocking the manifestations. So imagine if you've got all this pent-up energy, it's not just emotions, but manifestations, and they're all being canaled into one funnel, and the emotions are blocking the manifestations, you clear out the you get what I'm saying? So now that I've been working on my emotions, I'm actually quite curious to see what I manifested. So, let's play a game. Let's play a game. Would you like to play a game? Let's see what happens. Because now what the difference is is even though I'm starting from zero, I'm a whole different person. I'm smarter, I'm wiser, I'm happier. And starting from a new foundation, that's the important part. So unfortunately, I had to tear everything down. And ironically, that's the part I used to hate the most. Doing work over again pisses me off so much. Like, I used to get so mad at my sister when she broke my Legos. Because I didn't get the sets, you know? We had just arbitrary Legos. So I'd put my time and effort into it, and then my sister would just come over and smash it every time. She never got in trouble. And I would be so mad. I would actually put away my Legos. I'm like, I'm not fucking doing this again. So now it's like, alright, so now I get to start from ground zero. Okay. Well, it was a good thing I love Minecraft. Who doesn't love building? I can't even explain the change I've been through. You can't even either. If you come back and watch my videos, it's very apparent. This YouTube has been up for over 2 years. Now I know naturally things change, people change, you grow, you learn new things. So the channel tends to upgrade, but my energy itself has completely flipped as well. It's different. I'm different. It's kind of funny too. I'm sitting here thinking in my head, it looks like I'm over here being all mystical and staring off into the distance, and really I'm just staring at a wooden fence. So I just kind of, we're in the moment there. It's literally just a wood fence. When I'm looking up, I'm actually more or less lost in my head, and I'm doing my best not to be. I guess that's it. Wish me luck, guys. As I boldly go where no one's gone before. That's been the shittiest part. I have had no fucking example to go after. Everything I'm doing, I've had to put together myself. So, anyways, life's a struggle, so on and so forth. Then you learn. In fact, I put myself through the suffering so I could learn these specific lessons. Oh, you can definitely bet I'm pissed off at myself. You can bet. This was not fun. In fact, I don't even know when this video is going to go up because I don't have power right now, so everything's preloaded, pre-scheduled. This video is actually probably going to end up going up in the middle of April when I'm actually recording it on March 19th. Oh, fuck. My sister's birthday's this month. Anyways. Yeah. I wanted to give some big heroic speech or something. But like I said, you guys aren't even going to see this video for a couple of weeks, so I guess this is just a couple of last acknowledgements before I really move on. Guys, it's been so tough. Yeah, I guess that's it. You have a great day.